G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back, of course, to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope all is good and excellent in your part of the world. So this weekend was the WatchIt 1260. Where's it going? Yeah, the WatchIt 1260 watch fair over in Birmingham. I think this is probably the third year that I've attended with colleagues, friends. I have to say that I really enjoyed it this year. Got to see some great new brands, restart some conversations with a few old ones, and start some conversations with some new brands as well. I took along the Paul Bowman new release, the Operator Mark 1, to show around and get some feedback. Many people really liked it. I had a couple of people clocking it, asking me what it is, but the feedback was all the same. More on that in a little bit. So as you can see probably from the listings here on the website, there were many brands, and I didn't get a chance to speak to them all because it was a full day activity. But huge thank you to those brands who took the time to talk to us. They were working really hard on those tables, answering a lot of questions from a bunch of very well informed watch nutters. I did think, and I also heard many other people saying the same thing, the attendance this year seemed to be a little bit down on last year's. And I do think that the Watch It guys can take this piece of advice or this request in the best possible spirit. You guys got to spend a little bit more on promoting this through other avenues than Bookface and mailings listings. I think the simple reason for that request is that brands need people to come and see them to justify their attendance and own expenditure. And they're probably just all going to migrate to London instead, where they get much greater attendance. Yeah, it's kind of a vicious circle, but I really hope it doesn't close down, because here in the Midlands we need more of these type of things. So quickly to the Paul Bowman then. As I said, many of you liked it also when I did the unboxing, but you all said the same thing. They said, great watch, but the bracelet needs a rethink. And that really is the feedback that I got from, there's exactly the same feedback from everybody at the event that spoke about it. We're all saying the same thing, some kind of rubber silicon dive strap for the type of watch that this is. The butterfly isn't the best for an operator, military operator of the Royal Marines Commandos. So yeah, I'll pass this on to Paul when I do the full review of that as well. Back to the event. So there were a few standouts at the event for me. Andrew from Zero West Watches there. I've been a huge fan of their brand for a while, and it was really great to see their new models in person. Also got a chance to see the new stainless steel bracelet that they've produced and the deployment clasps in action. And as you can see from the fingerprints on these things, those new bracelets were very popular. I'm still torn between this smaller, dressier version and then the RAF striped dial as my favourites of the brand. But again, Andrew was really busy on that stand. So great to see Zero West still representing here in the Midlands. Next up was, where's it gone? Jose and his wife. Let's just zoom in a fraction. You see these things a little bit better. Jose and his wife from Isotope Watches. I was totally flattered that Jose remembered me from last year, and I just cannot help wish his brand were far bigger, as his creations are just brilliant. He's injecting something refreshing and bonkers into his designs. I mean, just beautiful watches, and there's so much thought process going on behind. You just cannot help but appreciate the work that he puts into his watches. This new chronograph was one of my favorites from the show. It just looks stunning in hand, and a really interesting use of materials, everything from Kevlar, the colorways, etc. Love it. I still love this NASA version as well from when I've seen it before on his stands, as it's just indicative of the brand's outside the box thinking. However, my tastes are a little peculiar, because their bestsellers at the moment are these vintage brass. Apparently they just can't make enough of them. They keep throwing out the window. I also then met a new UK brand here, which is Pinion Watches. Not heard of them before, so it was great to be able to see them. A clear design pattern here. They sat really well on wrist. Really good use of positive, bold, confident colours. And then round the back, some really modern engravings, which Piers, the brand owner, tells me he engraves himself. They also then had a great collaboration wristwatch with a very famous bomber group here. So certainly keep your eyes peeled for these guys in the future. I also then met Neil from Duckworth, and he has a huge offering of models. He's really injected a lot of life into the brand with a massive variety. It's so much to choose from on the table here that I think it's going to be easy to find a favorite for you all in there. My personal favorite was this big bold Satsuma. I love that positive colorway. Neil also had on the table a few Devosas on sale. He used to be a vendor for them. And again, it's a brand that I don't often see on many people's wrists. The integrated steel watch here was very nice, very pretty. But my favorite was this big bad boy diver. It had a little party trick up its sleeve in that it comes apart to allow access to the crown, or alternatively attach it to a desk mount. Again, brilliant watch, really cool, and again, thinking outside the box. Next up then was RZE. I mean, his mastery of titanium is very well known around the world. So yeah, brand doesn't need any introduction for most of you. Very good looking watches. One of the ones that I did like was their new digital version. I think it was also getting a lot of love from people around the table. Everybody was coming up, picking it up, having a look at it, etc. While I was taking photos, etc. You could hear how impressed people were seeing it. Maybe in hand, rather than the photos on the website. It looked fantastic. Where are we going next? Again, another brand new brand for me was McQuaid watches. It's brand new because I got to meet Rob, who's the brand owner, and he told me that he got his prototypes that he was showing at the watch event just 2 weeks beforehand. So yeah, super fresh off the press. The first launch are these incredibly handsome Damascus steel beasts. I've often looked at Damascus steel on pen knives and you know, fixed knives, etc., but I've always found them a little too pretty to use as knives. But on a watch case, that beautiful steel looked just right at home. Rob makes the steel himself again, so it's an absolute work of passion, and I really do think that the price point and the quality of what he was producing is going to mean we're going to be seeing a lot more of this brand. His next set of releases going in a very different direction design-wise, but equally handsome. So do remember this brand, guys. I think you're going to see it. I don't think there was any blurb on the table from the next brand. Probably didn't need it. Speaks for itself. Is Nodus. I've had my eye on them for a while, but I've never had the chance to get to see them in person. So that's why these watch events are so fantastic. And wow, was I impressed. I met Wes, the owner of the brand. Brilliant, chilled out guy. And again, he was exhausted after having spoken to so many people, but he still took the time, and he, you know, super polite and friendly. I will be definitely dropping him an email. Brilliant dude. Got a really wide range of options that are easily going to satisfy the most demanding watch nutters. Their best selling version at the moment is the Trekker here. It's a 40mm, and I tried it on. I loved it, but I could just see that in a 42mm, it's something that I'd really want to buy. The standout for me from his stand though, it was the Sector Deep in blue black. That little fade at the top was amazing, and it sat on wrist as happily as a happy thing. I'd love to get one of those in for review. He also then had a really nice Gada style here in that blue, nice shade of blue there, and then also nice use of colors as well on this GMT Traveler. Really nice watches, and as I say, really nice guy. Thanks again for your time, Wes. Do appreciate it. Next one on the table. Where's it gone? Yeah, Vario. So Michael from My Retro Watches, a channel that most of you will probably know, was hosting the stand, and he was understandably very busy because the Vario watches clearly resonate with a lot of us. The retro good looks of these things, I think they just sit so well against your modern looking watches. So you can throw one of these trench watches in your collection alongside your modern divers, modern digis, etc., and they just do something in your collection. Brilliant. Really excited because Michael has promised to introduce me to Ivan from the brand, so I can get one in for a review for you today, because there was a couple there that, you know, a couple of friends that I was with as well just said those watches look brilliant. So yeah, really excited to get some new ones in for you for review. Apologies to the other brands that I wasn't able to go and spend so much time and talk to you with. Really, you know, as I say, from guys in the Midlands, we really appreciate the effort that you're making to come into these events. For us, as an opportunity to get hands-on with your watches is fantastic. So thank you again for that. Hope that the event is back bigger and better next year. It's a great platform, as I say, for us watch nutters to get in contact with brand owners in a relaxed and fun way. But as again, I think the event does need some management so it doesn't fall by the wayside as bigger events take over and attract more brands to those other locations, specifically here in the UK. Anyway, that's a wrap for today. Thanks as always for your time and for your view, and keep your eyes peeled, guys. We should have some new watches in for review from these different brands. Cheers now.